Welcome to Simply Reading. My name is Stacy. This is my daily 2-card reading for Thursday, April 18th, 2024. It's Thursday, so it's a new deck, so we are moving on. Last week we worked with the Angels of Atlantis Oracle by Stuart Pearce, and that was lovely and always feels very uplifting to get those messages. This week we're using a deck that I've had for a couple years, though I've been working with tarot cards for a lot longer than that. But this is a tarot deck that's sort of a hybrid, I guess you would call it. It's written by Colette Baron-Reid, and the artwork is by Jenna Della Grataglia, who has done the artwork on several of her decks. But it's kind of a based on the tarot, but reads like an oracle deck. And so that's one of the reasons I decided to use it for these readings. And I've been wanting to use this deck, and I just wasn't sure when I was going to pull it out, and this felt like the right time. So Colette Baron-Reid has a massive amount of oracle decks that she's written over the years. But she got her start years and years ago, 30, 40 years ago probably now, doing tarot readings. She was doing readings for herself, doing readings for other people. She really built up a business and a clientele and knows the tarot deck very well. And she wrote a couple oracle decks and was asked to do a tarot deck. And she wasn't very interested in that because she's like, well, there's a lot of tarot decks out there. And so she, I think at first declined and then decided, actually, no, I think I need to kind of do a revised sort of tarot. So she says that this has like the principles of the tarot deck, but reads like an oracle, and it has more modern positive psychology in the cards. So like a tarot deck, it's divided into 4 suits, and then the higher level trump cards, I guess they could be called. There's 22 of those and 56 in each of the 4 suits. So it's a total of 78 cards. And these are bigger cards, you know, oracle cards. So sometimes I have a hard time shuffling this deck, but it's beautiful. And I'm excited to share this with you. She did do some changes in the deck because she did want it to be a bit more positive. And sometimes the tarot can feel, well, certainly intimidating because of the artwork, which is beautiful, but sometimes intimidating, the history of it, the meanings, interpretations. So she changed the names of a couple cards, some of the scarier ones, like the death card. She calls that the transformation card, which really that's what the card is about in the tarot. It's not about a physical death. It's more about a spiritual death or the end of a cycle and the beginning of a cycle. And then the devil, that's another one that's scary when it comes up or it makes people uncomfortable. She calls that card temptation because really that's what the meaning of it is in the tarot. Another one of the cards, I remember years ago, the first time I ever pulled the 10 of Swords for myself, I was like, and it was kind of like, what do I need to know today that I don't know already? And I pulled the 10 of Swords, and there's, you know, a dude with 10 swords in his back laying on the ground dead. I'm like, well, what does this mean for me? So that card has a much more positive, not meaning, but at least information in it for us. So the other thing that she did with this deck, and maybe some of them will turn up, instead of having knights in this deck, she calls them messengers in the court cards. So we have just some differences from the basic general tarot. And of course, there are many variations of tarot out there in the world, but we are going to look at her deck. So as always, I open a circle of light and love and protection around myself and these readings, and that extends to you all, no matter when you watch these readings, whether it's today or this year, later, next year, maybe. Know that you're protected by that. I also call in my spirit guides and guardians to help me be a clear channel for this information and to express it well to the collective and for myself as well, because I consider myself, you know, part of this collective that I'm reading for. Anyway, the deck on the back has this beautiful shade of green, but we're going to do what we always do. We're going to do a 2-card pull. We're going to look at the energy, which is the force that's directed towards us from the universe, the world, our environment, whether it's a big environment or a small environment. And then the focus, which is our intention, our effort, or our response that we put back into that energy. Because we're always co-creating with spirit. You know, this is a team kind of thing. Spirit works with us, we work with Spirit, and see what can be manifested to benefit not just ourselves, but the people around us, and hopefully the collective in general. Like I said, this is a 78 card deck. It's a little bigger, so no fancy shuffling for me, and I try not to drop it all over the place, but I will read not the traditional meanings of the tarot, but I'm going to read what Colette has written in her guidebook. That's how we're going to interpret this. So let us take a look at the energy card for today. Okay. Try to do this in focus, but this is a thick deck, so I'm trying not to drop it. And our focus. Oh, that's not clear. All right, clear. Focus. There we go. Okay. So this is kind of a shiny deck. We'll do the best we can with that. I mean, there's only so much we can do with that. But okay, so let us look at the energy card that we are working with today. And like I said, I'm going to talk about the artwork a little bit and read intuitively, but I really want to read what Colette has in the book. So we have the Two of Air. It's kind of funny. Air was on my mind today because it's howling like a banshee outside and is supposed to be for the next couple days. So it's funny that the Two of Air popped up. So this is a beautiful card. Let me lift this up and hopefully you can see some of it. All of the artwork here is just gorgeous. Most of the air cards in this deck either have birds in them or feathers. And this beautiful being has covered in feathers, and she has birds all around her as well. So, I want to read what Colette has about air. So this was traditionally known as the swords in the tarot deck. And it's probably the suit that people get the most conflicted about. Swords, like I was talking about the Ten of Swords and how uncomfortable that is. A lot of the swords feel like unwanted information or betrayal. Anyways, she's got a different look at this. So I want to read from this. She says the air suit, and she likens it to the mind, our mind processes. And she says, as you think, so shall you be. So let us look at the Two of Air and what she has written here for this. So the Two of Air says it's a stalemate, it's uncertainty, and it's considering options. Take time to take a break to consider. This is written kind of like from my perspective. Like if you or I were reading this, this is how she has it in kind of this first person. Take time to break. Oh, sorry. Time to take a break and consider my options and think about things. There is no need to rush forward. The perfect answer for the highest good will come to me if I take my time and remain in a peaceful state of mind. So I think what we need to know about the energy of today is there's a decision, or we're in sort of not an uneasy balance, but there's something going on that we're going to have to make a choice about. But right now, what we need to do is just pause, relax, and kind of think about our options. And now let's look at our focus card to see if that helps us understand how we're going to work with that energy. We have the Hermit. So this, and look at the light shining on there. I always think when the lights are glimmering on us now, that is a big double down. So this is the Hermit card. And I don't know if I can, if it's easily seen. The artwork is so gorgeous, but this is a doorway here. You know, doorways are one of my favorite liminal spaces. There's a lock on the door. There are keys here, another beautiful symbol. There's also in the very center of the card, the image of a green man, a traditional green man that you'll see a lot in Celtic or Germanic mythology. So the Hermit is probably one of the more mystical cards in the tarot, besides maybe the Star, or the Magician. They're all pretty amazing, but I want to read what this says because it's so mystical. It's interesting, of course, that it's paired with the Two of Air. I mean, Spirit is talking to us through these cards. There's no doubt. So again, 9, the Hermit. She says it means time out. Sometimes it's necessary to take time out for regrouping and introspection. This is a temporary experience, but one necessary for my growth. When I step back, retreat, regroup, and renew, I have a clear perspective on everything in my life. So this Hermit energy is working divinely with the Two of Air. The Two of Air is telling us we're kind of in a stalemate. We're at a pause. There's potentially a decision that needs to be weighed and thought about. And the Hermit is telling us to take time out. Just pause. And if you pause and relax and regroup and re-energize, the answer is going to come to us. So for this day today, I really just think we need to pause. Think about things around us. This is not a day for action. This is a day for pausing and thinking and regrouping and renewing. Action may come. It probably will. It always has to at some point. But today is a day to pause, to ponder, clear your mind, and I believe the answers will come to us. So I hope you've enjoyed this first look at the Good Tarot deck by Colette Baron Reid. We will be visiting it all week. And hopefully you'll like it and not feel, if you're not familiar with tarot decks at all, not feel too overwhelmed by it. She had this out, oh gosh, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. I've only had it for a couple years because I was like, well, I've got many tarot decks. I don't know that I need another one. And then I got this and I worked with it and I've really enjoyed it. Not only are the meanings a little more positive and uplifting, but the artwork is stunning. And while I love the artwork on a traditional tarot deck, it's fun to see different decks and to see different artists' interpretations of cards and meanings. Anyway, I hope you found this reading helpful. I hope you've connected with it in some way. I would love to hear what you've thought about this reading or these cards. Please like, please subscribe, please share, please leave comments. In these ways, you can help my channel grow so I can help spread these messages to more people. My channel is growing. I'm grateful for you all. I'm grateful for the comments I'm getting. I'm grateful for the likes that I'm getting. I appreciate you all. My name is Stacy. Thank you for visiting Simply Liminal with me. Have a wonderful day.